half has gone by, and they have not responded to anything. They've said nothing. And all of a sudden, they changed the attorney. They have a new law firm now who has just taken up the madness. And I mean, they're not even starting from scratch. They're just skipping everything in the middle that they're supposed to do and going straight to eviction. We don't have the notice yet. You know, Josh is on his way to advise of what's happening, but it's insane the way that they're doing this. All right, you lose the money, then you refuse to accept money, and the further it goes along. All right, I think they were banking all along that there was no money to catch up, but you know, the fact of the matter is that even if they were to say some craziness like that, I worked for 25 years at Verizon, and I also part-time, you know, as a marriage and family therapist, we're looking at $8,000 to $10,000 a month that was coming into the household. So there was no way that they could say that we didn't have the money to pay it. All right, we send them the money, they send it back. We send them more money, they send it back. What are we supposed to do with that? You know what I mean?
And you know why they did that, Gibbs? Because your mom's mortgage is probably in a trust, right, or a alleged trust. And chances are they collected a huge insurance policy for 10 times the amount owed. So they could have gotten $1 million. So if they had taken your mom's money and made it current, mortgage and made it current again, they'd have to give back that $1 million. So that's one of the reasons why that happens. They make a fortune by pushing people into foreclosure. And so you need to get into court and get discovery and get all those documents in order, and Josh will do that for you, right? Whether it's at the end or the middle. But that's the idea, is to get that. That's why they're doing that.
I'm sorry, I missed the part. How is it they made money?
They made money. There's a giant insurance policy on every mortgage. It's called a credit default swap. And so the servicer who you were dealing with at that point was Washington Mutual. Washington Mutual probably collected a big insurance payment of up to $1 million or more on your mom's property because they refused the payment. They caused the default. So the terms of the insurance policy are once the default occurs, then they get paid. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons. You won't know until you get into discovery, but that could be one of the reasons.
But that's the craziest part, is that they collected that. They want to collect the house and sell it too, and make more money.
Well, they don't even want the money. They want your mother's name off the deed so she can't sue.
And they keep begging her to leave the property,
course
and I
they
keep
do.
saying no. As long as you're in there,
You don't want
it
her
stays
name on
in
that
your
deed,
name
because
stays
as
in
long
the
as her
deed.
name's on that note, she's standing to sue.
Now, of course, also another consideration is the time that all of this went down. See, this house was mortgaged in what, 1996? Okay, so that's pre-mortgage bubble. So it sold for something like its real value, which was, I think the purchase price was $90,000 in 1994. Well, what has happened by 2004? There's been this enormous bubble pumped by the banks and by Wall Street. They've got too much money. They've got trillions. They don't know what to do with it. So they force it into the mortgage market. And by 2004, this property, which had gone for $90,000 in 1996, was probably going for, you know, $250,000, $300,000, something like that. So if you can knock out the acquisition expenses, pick this up for at most $90,000, you've still got $160,000 to $200,000 that you've cleared on the deal. So that was probably in the works somewhere too. All of these crooked reasons.
So today, you have Josh on your, is he filing complaints or anything?
Yes. When they spoke at the POP meeting, I believe Sal said, I wasn't there, I wasn't feeling well. I've been really not feeling well, and on oxygen, which I have in the car now, all right? But I believe he did talk about how bad the problem was, okay, and that they were looking into filing suit, all right? Now, what I had been looking up myself was what criminal charges should be filed against them, all right? Now, I've already written a letter to the assistant prosecutor. I did that last year. I've also sent now a letter to the Department of Senior Services, all right, because this is elder abuse, just flat out, okay? And I don't know if you guys all know about the settlement that happened with JP Morgan Chase. I think they just did it yesterday, all right?
13 billion.
Do you know that they said some of the money is going to the investors?
Yeah.
Some of it to help out, some of it going to the bank, some of it going to the investors. Didn't the investors make money?
And some of it is tax deductible.
Yeah, almost all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tax
It's not gonna cost
deductible.
us.
Yeah,
It's
see-
it's
Right, so they did
it's
a
a
whole
laundry,
write-off,
money
right?
laundering deal.
Yeah.
So, but with you, notary fraud is something that you may want to think about. Civil, talk to Josh about civil, and then it's also criminal, but you can file civil because the person who committed the fraud down in Ocala, Florida,
Yes.
was an employee of a company that had errors and omissions insurance.
Okay.
Okay,
Notary.
so they're insured. So you want to look into that?
Okay.
Okay, and see if you can file a civil complaint for notary fraud. Because there's no way that man stood in front of that notary for a $65,000 mortgage, assignment of mortgage. There's just no way. He was in Long Island. He was on his way to prison.
And I'm also looking into ethics charges against the judges who are making these orders. Because if you are ill prepared for it, or you're basing it on renter's law or whatever it is, and you're not factoring in this fraud, the fraudulent deals that are happening, because we all see the problems.
Right.
Okay? I think that ethics charges needs to be filed against them because they are letting down the public and they're allowing it to happen. I know we were talking about a land grab. I don't know if anybody else read about the JP Morgan trying to do something in China. All right? They want to own the world. All right? And I mean, you can't be afraid of people who are committing fraud. I don't care who has the money or how it's happening. Everybody's losing. All right? So they empty out the whole street. Then what? All right? I put some of the pressure onto the local politicians as well because I said, if there are no people in your city, you have nobody to govern.
Right.
All right? Which means you have no job yourself. Still nothing.
So it just occurred to me, looking around the group, we're talking about taking on some big powers of this world, but let's see just, how many different people's organizations are represented here already. I'm with People's Organization for Progress and Coalition to Save Our Homes. Carol,
New Jersey Industrial Union Council.
Kathy,
NAACP.
SEIU.
Communities United.
NAACP and POP.
Coalition to Save Our Homes and POP.
Communities United.
Coalition Save Our Homes. POP.
Pop.
POP and
We can all add POP.
I'm
And Coalition
POP.
to Save Our Homes.
Right.
I'm POP, Coalition to Save Our Homes, the National Black Women's Defense League, and the National Million Women's March. All right, so all of that's been taken into consideration. I've notified everybody. I've sent emails out everywhere. All right, as well as NOW, National Organization of Women. So this is just so far out of hand, and we're also not only using it as elder abuse, but ethnic and gender violations against a woman of African descent.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's where this is going. I mean, I don't know how much further we can go. I've spoken to the Department of Justice, the prosecutor's office, everything. Nobody wants to budge. All right, and to be let down again and again by everybody says to start at the local government. All right, to be let down because they do nothing and then to step over their heads and for them to send you back down to the same people who are saying no. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. I'm just saying the local government, okay? And I know firsthand how the systems work because of what happened to me. So it's a crazy thing that nobody cares until it actually hits them or a family member of theirs, all right? And this for me is a nightmare. This is my mom. I love her to death. I'll do anything for her, okay? And for this to be happening, we're going to go to war over this. So, I mean, I appreciate all of you here. I appreciate all of your support, okay? I really do. And I'm telling you, Dave has held me up a couple of times when I thought I was going to fall down. I mean, seriously. On E, not feeling good, and he's always positive. All right? So, all of you, I really do appreciate all of your help. I truly do. right? So it's just now, when Josh gets here, you know, we need to really talk about what's going to happen next, right? Because some way we've got to trump Jason.
So this is important. We've got a lot of knowledge here. We've got more than one distressed homeowner here, by the way. We've got people who are connected with many other people's issues. We've got organized labor here. You know, so a lot of, and we've got, you know, a real live, outrageous issue here. So there's just a whole lot to work with. We've got to, you know, keep this struggle going, and you know, other struggles like it going. Communities United and SEIU and CWA have all been involved on this front. That's very important. You know, and there's also another side of it. Maybe we can take a little bit of time to educate ourselves about. You know, we're all familiar with the phenomenon of predatory lending, but there was another side of the